Hey, you guys, and welcome to today's show. I don't even know where to start, but I do know that what I want to talk about tonight, we got to talk about this con game that Thomas ran. And I told y'all it was a con, but I got on the Team Douglas bandwagon because it would have been more forgivable had it been the child. But as always, Thomas is our villain. Welcome, Lady Sanchez and Darling, and all of our people out there in YouTube land. Vicky been out there holding it down with Lisa. Hey, looking for Storm and Tyra. Um, hey, you guys over there.
Evening, Bubbles. How everybody
Hey,
doing?
hey,
Hey, my darling.
hey, Can.
Hey, guys.
Bold and the beautiful. It's not feeling too bold nor too beautiful today.
That's
And
right.
how's
Well,
everybody woolside?
So
I
I know Bubble said, I just read in one of her chats or her mentions, she said she was going to explain it to us again tonight, Bubbles.
Yes, I know
So what
precisely what
you,
Bubbles is about to say because we touched on this a couple of episodes ago when we were dancing with the possibility of Thomas having done this, and Bubbles and I were kind of on the same page about what we thought would play out if he was in fact the trigger man.
Girl, y'all, this was all a con, just like me and Darlene said. It was a con. And you know what, right now, let me tell you, it hit me in the face so hard today. We have all seen the usual suspects. Kaiser Sose dick whipped us today. Um, with a giant dildo. We got smacked in the face by Kaiser Sose. And let me tell you why. Y'all, we sat here and believed them people was from damn CPS.
Yes, we did.
What type of proof did we even have to believe them because the show told us they was from CPS? That's why we believe that shit. Thomas hired all three of the people, including Walter. We don't know what the fuck Walter's been doing. Bridge don't know what the fuck Walter's been doing. But Thomas told us what he wanted us to believe Walter was doing. We all got, well, we didn't all get conned because some of us saw it and a lot of us knew this is where they're going to go anyway because the show is predictable. Thomas is always the bad guy. Just like Matt said when he was in Bold Live, if Liam has got to be the hero all the time, then Thomas has to be the villain all the time. When he took off that white
Or
shirt,
the anti-hero or something that somebody corrected me earlier about whatever. The person who takes the fall shit.
but then the turning point, the whole linchpin was him changing shirts, y'all. He had a whole rack of shirts, and he went from a white shirt to a black shirt. We still on the same day. We are still on the same day where he spilled that coffee on his shirt and Hope came in because he changed into that black shirt. We still on the same day. We've been on the same day for almost 2 weeks now.
since last week? Wow.
Yeah. Because Taylor just took off the hat she had on when they was flying to Aspen.
That's right. That's right.
The only people who changed clothes was Ridge and Brooke because they was flying to Aspen. Everybody else already, well, Taylor and Steffy changed clothes when they got on the plane too. Taylor put on that gray she had on. But y'all, they got us good. But they didn't get everybody good. But the way that they did it got us because it had to have been a con. That part we saw, but I never thought to even sit here and think we don't know that these people are real CPS agents. They flashed a badge. Ridge didn't even really look at a badge if they flashed one. And I told y'all it was something off about the way Thomas was telling that lady, oh no, just take the knife. If that's gonna cause problems, just it was just weird. His whole everything was weird. But I bet you dollars to donuts ain't not nary three of them people from no damn CPS. They go all three of them be people that they hired, and Walter is somebody familiar that he ain't really got to explain away. That's the part of the con that makes the con believable. You got
The shill.
you got right. You got a shield. You got you got a known property. And so Ridge had no reason to question him. Oh, yeah, I remember Walter. He was doing something. Oh, so he worked for CPS? That's convenient. Okay, well, we can't tell nobody because he'll lose his job. We won't tell nobody. It'll just be between the two of us what happened. Like just between the two of y'all, really. All that happened, and you weren't gonna tell Taylor or Steffi that CPS came to the house. Ain't nobody still ain't told them that. Um,
Mm-mm. And Bubbles, the timing. I went back and looked at that crap. So just because I was infuriated after I listened to my Hamilton soundtrack about 8 times, I said, let me go back and look at this. Those people showed up at the door and Thomas was there in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Those people did not interact with Ridge on a solo basis for even 60 seconds. Thomas controlled the entire flow of that interaction.
you sure did, and I told y'all it was off. And people,
Yeah.
well, no, Thomas was at the office. The only two people who were not accounted for were Brooke and Thomas. Brooke went somewhere with her phone, and Thomas told Ridge to go on home with Douglas because Douglas was looking forward to spending time with him. So that left Thomas in that office by himself. Thomas knew that Ridge was going to be at that house with that boy by himself because Eric was off somewhere else, probably at the
He
damn.
sent him home. He sent Ridge home. Remember, he said, you're supposed to be playing chess with Douglas. So Thomas literally sent his dad home for this setup.
He told him, "You go ahead and go home, and I'll meet you
He
guys."
has some stuff to do. He'll meet him there. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was his excuse. And I'm like, finish what though? Y'all was just finished growing. What else you got to finish? Ridge didn't even question him what else you got to finish. He just said, okay, and he went to the house. Eric was MIA. He had the perfect opportunity because he knew Eric wasn't going to be at the house. It was just going to be the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Eric wasn't going to be at the house. Then Donna wasn't going to be at the house because if Donna had been at the house, she would have called Brooke immediately. He played a timing game. Didn't none of us really see Eric? They put it right there in our damn faces and we didn't see it. But I felt like it was going to be a con because the CPS don't just show up like that. I mean, I live in the South. I don't think CPS just show up like that here real quick.
And nobody, oh girl, please, if CPS could show up like that quick, there'll be a lot more families in better condition than they are now. And nobody ain't checked no credentials. Yeah, they had them little fake ass badges hanging around their neck, but I don't recall Ridge or Thomas asking for, can I see some identification?
No,
Something?
No, Ridge was
No.
just saying, let me call my lawyer. Thomas, don't say anything to them until we get Carter on the phone.
Mm.
it
And
wasn't
then,
that Thomas controlled everything, and they told us what they wanted us. We were all rich in this situation. I want y'all to know that we were all rich.
yes, we were. And that breaks my heart.
We
I
were
never want to be Ridge.
no because we believed just exactly what the fuck Thomas told us because we wanted to believe Thomas had changed. We wanted to
Yes.
believe Thomas
Well,
was.
Thomas did change, Bubbles. That's why it was just so dumb for them to throw that in there like that because we have been seeing Thomas changing. So, and he didn't have no reason to do this, right? We got Hope.
And
She's Team Thomas now. She's staying at the mansion, practically living at the mansion, her and baby bed. So why would they do
and
this?
Sanchez, that is what's killing me. Because here's the thing, just let's be really clear about this. I don't give a fuck about Brooke Logan. Y'all all know that. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck about Liam ass neither. On a
Mhm.
good day, I don't give a shit about Hope neither. So
Yeah.
Thomas making people miserable is not my red line. Would I like him to have had growth? Yes. Would I like him to have had progress? Yes. Would I have liked him to have a real love interest and gotten his son back above board? Absolutely. But I'm open to him doing shady shit. Okay, maybe that's just his
Yeah.
lot in life to do shady
Yeah.
shit. What I cannot tolerate is shady, nonsensical, stupid shit. And that's what this
That's it.
is. He
That's
was
it.
getting everything he wanted. He had his
Yes.
son living with him. He has hope on his side, believing that his son staying with him more is a good thing. The Douglas issue was based and advocating for him to Brooke and Liam, telling them to shut up and stop it and let them deal with it. Then with his parents, Brooke may have wanted her marriage to last, but her marriage was in the process of crumbling. Ain't nobody can deny that
Yeah.
because Ridge was spending all his time anywhere but at Brooke's house,
That's
ducking
right.
her. dodging her, having screwed her anytime in this calendar year.
Thank
Hasn't
you.
put his ring back on, hasn't recommitted.
Thank
That
you.
marriage was crumbling to the ground on
Thank you.
its own. And Taylor didn't have to do nothing but just stand there and be the wonderful Taylor that she is.
That's it.
Okay, that's it.
But
So for
let me tell you what y'all missing.
hmm,
Thomas did change. If you pay close attention, Thomas has changed. He has changed because he did this all on his own. He didn't tell nobody. He didn't incorporate Steffi. For 2 seconds, I said to myself, now what if the bigger twist is that Steffi knew all of this and this was a 1-2 punch and Steffi's job was just to keep their mom engaged. And then Steffi's job was to keep Taylor busy, hopeful, and engaged. And Thomas said, I'll take care of the rest. And he took care of this with Brooke. Like that would be the 1-2 punch for me. But if you pay attention, Thomas he didn't engage nobody's help. He didn't use or manipulate Douglas. All he did was sit and bide his time. Him just being normal, regular Thomas was enough to set everybody off because they didn't trust him. And why should they? But they didn't trust him. So all he did was sit there and let these people self-implode over him doing absolutely, he was breathing and they were losing their
existing.
He was existing and they were losing their shit. And he bid his time. Brooke is the one who gave him the opportunity and the idea, because if she had never said nothing about calling no CPS, he never would have got this ball rolling. So
That's right. That's right. He never would have got the idea. That's right.
right. This is on Brooke at the end of the day for even putting that idea in his head. But he was methodical and he did this all by himself. He didn't ask Steffi to co-sign on shit. So when it all goes down, she's gonna be just this, because they all well, it's Steffi and Thomas, it's Steffi and Thomas, it's Steffi and Thomas. This is looking like 100% Thomas. If Steffi is aware and she's been keeping this secret that damn good, because today she did say something about we should have had that bitch in a gondola.
I say they reading, I say they trolling.
I saw that shit. That's that was one of the only 2 bright points of today. Steffi saying that we wanted to put her in the gondola. I was like, girl, you have no idea.
We should have tapped in the gondola. I say they've been reading can tweets.
And Taylor, the only 2 good things in this whole show was that and Taylor having more common sense than I'm surprised Belle gave her credit for, and knew she needed to stay her ass clean the hell out of that mess outside. That was it.
Right.
Those are only 2 things I liked. And Thomas throwing shade at Donna, but then the last 2 minutes just took all the pepper out of that for me.
I know. Yeah.
Now, Dawn Cardoso on YouTube said that she was being optimistic too, but should have known better. She still thinks that Thomas has made progress. He's not the only one on the show that has done shady stuff. But here's the thing: Thomas is the only one who has done shady stuff against Brooke for profit. That's really why I can't stand Thomas, because he was willing to lie and say that he had sex with her when they ate them berries because his grandmama was going to give him 25% of the company in exchange. That was the straw for Brooke, because prior to that, she and Thomas were okay. They was in that taboo campaign and she was letting Thomas kiss up. Well, Thomas, you can't be kissing me. I'm your father's wife. How does that gonna look, Thomas? But they still did that shit at the fashion shows. They still did that shit for the press and the magazines. Every time you turned around, she was somewhere letting Thomas kiss on her or be inappropriate. They had all them scenes. Remember, Thomas dipped her, Reg standing there looking like and Thomas,
I remember all of that. Yes.
So she got past all of it, and she got past all of it. But when he sat there with her grandmama and lied about them berries and was willing to take it to the end, that's when Thomas became Brooke's prime
nemesis.
When he was with Caroline and Douglas was being made and he was with Sally and all that, she didn't think twice about Thomas because he was never within her orbit. He wasn't even thinking about Hope at that time. It was like this Thomas was a whole different person. Pierce Pearson's Thomas is probably the most healed Thomas we've ever had because he wasn't
Yes.
really doing no shenanigans, and his daddy stole his girlfriend and his baby.
Yeah.
So that's probably the close to whole as we gonna have Thomas. But now the game has changed, and we back to where we are, and Thomas is now the villain that he
Again.
in. Yeah, he's back to being the villain again because Brooke ain't never gonna get over him lying about them berries and making Ridge believe that she shared her love, something so pure between the two of them with his son.
Oh, that was just. Oh, please. To which all of us rolled our eyes and was looking at Eric Thorne and Ridge and Nick in the same breath, going, "You serious?"
Right. Girl,
Okay.
fuck him. So
Mm, mm.
why Thomas has been the enemy. Thomas will always be the enemy. Um, that baby was just the icing on the cake, but Brooke hated Thomas long before her niece stole her grandbaby. I need people to stop blaming Thomas for that because he only kept a secret that was already in existence. But everybody else got a free pass, but we still want to talk about Thomas lied about Beth. Bitch, your niece lied about Beth, and you gave her a corner office and a title.
Thank
All she
you.
had to do was give up up an organ, and it
Right.
was all
That's
good.
it. That's it.
She could have gave up her
Argan,
still would have been trash, garbage, basura because you stole the baby and looked this girl in her face after you handed her baby to another woman and signed legal documents. You are trash. For
that's right. Pretended to be that baby's mother. And you know what, Bubbles? And I just want to say this though. The thing about Thomas, you know, if they want to keep him the bad guy, because I agree with Darling what she said earlier. If they want to make him the villain of Bold, which I don't see why, we got Sheila and Deacon over there, but that's a whole nother story. But if they want to continue to make Thomas the villain, I'm okay with that. I mean, because it's believable because how Brooke has hated him his existence, the whole life, starting from the moment she discovered Taylor was pregnant for Thomas, and she had Thorne and Taylor and everybody trying to hold on to that lie until it came out, so she can hurry up, marry Ridge, get a baby to seal the deal. You know, so starting from there, I feel like Thomas has reason. So let that be the reason. But what I don't want and what I do see coming though is they're going to use that to keep my little heir locked away in that damn shed. So if you want to make Thomas the villain, fine. But don't drag Taylor and Douglas to do so. Can we get a better story? You see what I'm saying? Why do we have to
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice Douglas just so, just for this shit? It's like what? That's not what I'm here for, Bubbles,
I'm not here for it either, honey. If Thomas is gonna be the villain, let him be the villain. Every soap opera has a all the time villain. We only get Sheila and Deacon and Spurks, so we need a Demira, a type person that's part of the family. We need a Cassadine type
Yeah,
person that's part of the family. So it's gonna be Thomas. And okay, fine. It's gonna be damn Thomas. Then
yeah,
need him to be fucking shit up for real, not doing this patty cake shit with Brooke changing voices and all that. I need him
yeah.
out here legitimately spiking her orange juice. I need him to be out here legitimately setting her up to wake up in the bed with damn gigolos and shit. That's accountability. If we gonna make him a villain, let's make him a
Then
real
invest in it. Do it. Stop
right.
Yeah,
fucking
and do it
around.
the right way. That's right. This little petty shit one time, because what they gonna do is, oh, we knew it was Thomas, and they're gonna drag Hope. We told you you couldn't think for yourself. We told you you didn't have a brain and you don't have good judgment. And look at what it was. Look, we were right. And they're gonna, that's here they coming to collect Douglas up and lock him away in that damn cabin. And that's not what I want. Let him continue. Let him be the villain. But like you said, I'll give me a Cassadine, give me a Kyriakis, give me a Demira. You know what I'm saying? But they not throwing their children. They not losing their kids to be this. Show me one Demira that they have come in and taken and placed that and made orphanage because they were bad guys. Why does Douglas have to be the orphanage just because Thomas got to be the villain?
Because he's not worthy. Because all of the whole justification that's gonna go down when all of this, because that's the part that pisses me off. Secondly, about this is that here's the thing. Not too long ago, based on the fact that we didn't know who the CPS caller was, and the post, I guess you could say the post production editing and whatnot. We
Yeah,
actually spent a solid hour on this chat. This chat drinks the day after, where the vast majority of the people who tune into this and who speak on this on the regular have no use for Hope and Liam in general. Point in
that's
fact,
right.
we wish they would drop
The
off the edge of the
2%.
cliff 90% of the time.
The
But
2%. Yeah.
exactly, but we actually spent, because things looked like they were getting interesting, we actually spent the better part of an hour discussing how interesting things were turning when it came down to Brooke and Liam and
Yeah.
Hope, and this dynamic
This,
developing
yeah.
where
So,
Thomas is a changed person,
yeah.
where Brooke and Hope is supporting that, be it romantically or platonically, either one, and how that puts her at odds with the two people who have been pulling her strings 99.9% of the time for pretty much her entire adult life. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: I don't care about none of that shit now. Why should I?
Yeah.
It's pointless now because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, because the whole end game of setting Thomas up to do this, one of the little bricks in the wall is so that Brooke and Liam can say they were right. So
That's right.
them
That's it.
gaslighting. Yeah, so them gaslighting Hope and managing her 24/7 and treating her like she's living in a conservatorship. It doesn't matter. They can continue to do it because they're right. She's wrong. Her judgment is bad. She doesn't
Yeah.
see what's really there. She doesn't she is too good. She can't recognize that a
You
person
see
is
that?
up to something. So the
You
thing is,
see that?
all of that interesting stuff that was going on doesn't
Yeah.
matter now. It
It
don't matter.
doesn't.
It's
It
it's it's
doesn't.
it's vapor. It's nothing because it's going nowhere.
Thank you.
Let me
It
say
does.
this real quick. SB Writer, they can fuck around and kill Thomas Hamilton Forrester if they want to. I will quit this show. We won't even do drinks no more. Like
Oh,
I will completely sever ties with this TV show. If they take another one, a Taylor and Ridges killing,
I ain't having it.
I
Mm-mm.
You know what they gonna do, Bubbles? They might not kill him, but they gonna throw his ass in the institute. This is what's gonna happen. They gonna, after Liam and Brooke drag Hope for filth, and make her feel stupid and belittle her, and when she could go off in the corner and cry somewhere, Brooke gonna be over there. I told you, your son was no good, and he doesn't deserve to be a father. So Riz gonna agree. I should have listened to you, Brooke. Because
Mm-hmm.
you were having these doubts and
You were
all of this here.
right.
Yeah, all of this here she say that she was saying on the plane the other day with the forces, the outside forces. I'ma believe you next time. Every time I don't believe you, something happened. They gonna throw Thomas ass in the crazy institute. And so eventually if he don't die in the institute, he gonna come out more crazy. So he may as well be dead. And Douglas gonna be trapped in the cabin of doom, Bubbles. That's how it's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
Not to
Y'all
mention
know what?
completely fucking up his relationship with his parents.
Hey, y'all. Look, I'm been waiting patiently while y'all purge. I am like 30 minutes into this and I am about to bust.
okay.
Look, can I go? Can I please go? Because y'all is purging all over the place and I need my turn. Look, I don't see it that way. I don't like how everybody just jumped on this bandwagon of seeing shit like the way that y'all just assumed that it was gonna happen. This is like a very annoying. Like at the beginning of this shit, he said it was going to be somebody that you guys least expect. Everybody has been expecting it to be Thomas or Brooke. And it's like y'all forgetting that because of how y'all are so used to having it come out to be Thomas. I don't think that's what we getting this time. And it's just like, I don't know. It maybe I'm trying to be too optimistic or whatever. But I'm not ready to throw my guy under the train, under the bus. Like literally everybody's like jumping shit. Like this shit is sick. Like in my opinion, it just seemed like he really fucked everybody up all this time, and now it's just showing. Everybody on that side, they super happy. Oh, I told you with Thomas. Ha 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 ha. This, that, and the third. It's fucking nuts. I've been in Twitter space all day. It's fucking toxic. I've been in Facebook all day. They fucking toxic. And it's like now everybody here is still marinating in it. Like, come on now. Like, I haven't even heard nothing from Sam all day. So that just validates. It's just like everybody has literally been in this fucking Kool-Aid bin. And it's just like, Bill fucked everybody. And ain't nobody really like seeing the soap in it. Like, I don't know. Y'all tell me where I'm wrong at. Because I just feel like he literally is trying to do everything over. I don't know. It just seemed very fucking suspicious how now it's Thomas at the very fucking moment that everybody was like, oh yeah, it could be this, it could be that. But now that he says that it's Thomas, like I said that I thought he would do. I told y'all I felt like he was going to push out Thomas being the first person. But it was not going to be him. It was either going to be Douglas or it was going to be Brooke. I felt like this was going to happen.
But he said today, the Can, that he was the one who did it. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind Thomas being a villain. What I don't like is for him to be used just to prop Bridge and tear and kill Douglas, because basically what's going to happen is it's going to kill the relationship with Douglas, and he's going to be right back over there in that cabin.
But
And
his actions don't make him a villain, though. That's my whole thing. Why does it make him a villain?
Maybe villain is too strong of a word, but what it's going to do is let's just take the word villain out of the equation, because let's see, he hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't, stolen anything. He's
not
from
really
anyone.
behaving like a Jamila Kariaki.
No, he's At worst, Thomas is manipulating Ridge. That's what he's doing. He's manipulating his father. He's manipulating his father into choosing to get rid of his whole bag wife that nobody in his family can stand. That is Thomas's greatest sin here. Now, granted, if Thomas did do this as a scam, I'm hoping he did. Because, I would rather find out that he paid people to show up and pretend to be CPS than to find out that he really called CP freaking S and did some crazy shit like this. So I'm hoping that Bubbles and I's idea that this was a scam from door one is what it is. It best turn out like that. Because if it turns out I'm really hoping it does, because it best not be anything where he actually involved the real life authorities, because that would just be absolutely insane. The problem with it is that this will be used as justification among the Logans, and not that I give a shit what the Logans think about him, but among Thomas's own people, the people who back him, the people who support him, to prove that nothing has literally changed with him. Because here's the thing, Thomas learned his lesson last time. The last time he tried to incorporate Steffy into one of his plans, it completely blew up in his face at that bullshit wedding that took place where you had Zoe and Hope in damn wedding dresses. So you're damn right he knew not to ask his sister to sit in on this bullshit. He went solo. He went rogue. He went solo to do that. So here's the thing. Y'all already know what my stand is for Tridge. I said this in Sanchez space later, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm more pissed about him putting himself at a disadvantage with Douglas over this than I am about
Yeah.
him
That's what I don't
him
understand. Why would he go
manipulating
through
Tridge
that?
with a
Why
poison
would he
pill. I
go
don't
through
care
that
about that.
length though? That's what I'm saying, darling. What would be the purpose of going through that length of doing all of that, hiring people and shit? What like literally what would that be? That would be asinine. That would be
It is
that's
asinine,
so that
Can. You're
that
reading it right. You're reading it
that's asinine.
exactly. The reason so many people are pissed today is for the exact reason that you're saying. It is asinine. It makes absolutely no
No sense.
sense. Because
Right.
here's the thing, I would love if it was a situation where Douglas did it and Thomas was covering for him. That would be much better. But in this scenario, we're going to see what happens when it picks up tomorrow, I guess. But based on how it went off today, Thomas wasn't telling anybody. This was exposition. He was telling the audience himself in a room by himself that he was the one who did it. Not that he was covering for someone. He wasn't like saying it in a way where he could be where someone would overhear him and they would think he was the fall guy and Douglas would stay out of it completely. He was just point blank confessing he was the trigger man for
Yeah.
absolutely no reason because it's asinine. It's stupid. It's idiotic. It makes
Yeah,
no damn sense.
I'm gonna have to stand alone on that one. I don't think that it's playing out like that. I see what you and Bubbles are saying. I see what you're saying that the whole plot of the CPS was derived from Thomas making this up to push Ridge and stuff like that. Okay, I get that. And I ain't buying tickets to that show. This is a whole nother type of shit show. And that's okay. That's fine.
But
I'm done. I'll listen.
But he was at the house by himself. There's nobody else there but him. Why would he say that he's the one who made the call and then take the phone out and play his voice changing to Brooke's voice?
Because that's exactly what Bell needs to keep the Logan fans on board. They have been getting the shitty end of the stick lately. So serving the purpose of what I was saying by blaming Thomas first in this scenario keeps them on board. Look at who is in our group that's a Hogan fan. Amaya. Maya hasn't even been in our circle in a while because she stopped watching, right? She stopped watching because there's been a shit show for her. She commented today because it's something viable for her to watch. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is all of this is to keep fans into the show. That's it. That's it. That's all. Like I said from the beginning, he was going to blame Thomas. This was how it was supposed to be. But whatever. I don't know. I could be just thinking some outlandish. I don't know.
But I'm waiting for you to say where can it go from here? They've had Thomas, so like give me an actual step-by-step theory. Give me an actual step-by-step fanfic theory. Because right now what they gave us today was Thomas actually saying, I did this to Brooke, and then playing his voice saying on Brooks as Brooke on the voice app is I did this. So where can we go tomorrow that it just takes everything that happened today away? Where
Because
can we go?
okay, I'm gonna say it like this. Okay. The whole notion that he was doing all this stuff today piggybacks off of yesterday. Now, my thing was he literally said what he said today in my hearing and seeing the show, kind of like, okay, I figured out how to work this shit. Like an old person trying to figure out how to use their phone. So he figured out how to use this app. And my thing was he very much so did not want Douglas messing back with that app. And it's very curious to me, why would he be so like adamant, and he was very stern with Douglas yesterday. Like, why you keep messing with? I told you before. Like, this whole conversation already happened. All this conversation that he had on screen. Well, okay, why?
Because Douglas, I'll be blunt. Douglas screwing around with that app in front of people ups his chances of getting caught.
Exactly. Douglas' chances of getting caught.
No, Thomas's. If Ridge cracks his mouth,
two together.
Yeah, exactly. If Ridge cracks his mouth to say that the reason that he finally decided to be done with his marriage to Brooke was because she called CPS, anybody whose last name is Logan and Eric to boot, who hears that, the first thing they're gonna do is run to Brooke and tell her. And what's Brooke gonna do? That's the key to this. The key to Thomas keeping this con going is nobody finding out that Brooke was the one who did it. Because if they find out that there's a call at CPS supposedly that Brooke Logan made, they're gonna start digging into it. Okay, because Brooke is gonna swear up and down that it wasn't her. And the thing is, they're gonna yeah, it sounded like her. Okay, you're sure it was her, Ridge? Yes, it was her voice. I know Logan's voice. Of course it was her. And it don't take that much to figure out that no, it's LA. Get a sound expert.
Okay.
They'll tell you it wasn't them.
Darling.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the puzzle pieces still are not fitting. Like the stuff that we do know and we have been seeing before today, it still is not cohesive with the puzzle. My thing is, he was very, very questionable about his sister picking up a phone call from Brooke. So he really gonna call CPS on himself as Brooke. It ain't fitting, y'all. Like,
Bubbles, were you not listening to the first? Not Bubbles. Can were you not listening to the first 20 minutes where Bubbles said this was probably a con job, and that's how he sidestepped using CPS altogether?
I heard that. I acknowledged that. I heard what you and Bubbles' theory was. I said I got that. I understand it. I see that, and I said I get it. I get where y'all coming from, because those loose ends, those really are loose ends. That it could come around that way, because those people did come out of nowhere, and who really does seem like a third person by themselves from a federal office like that. But so I'm not going too much down that. But my whole thing was the whole point of Thomas doing this when he already wasn't, like, he wasn't on board with none of the antics before this shit happened. So why would he go to the extreme to mimic a voice app to cover up something? My thing was, it was a cover up. Like, he know Douglas did it. Him and Douglas probably talked about it. And that's why he was so mad and stern with him. Like, I told you, stop messing with that. Like, my whole thing is, the way I see it, I feel like he already had this discussion with Douglas. Look, you and me already done talked. Stop messing with that app. And you still messing with it after I done told you to stop messing with it. I done did all this covering up for you. Leave it alone. You know what I mean? That's what I see it like. Because it just seemed like it fit better in my head than all the other ways around it.
I get you want to be optimistic. I'm going to be honest. I think you're reaching. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Thomas, every time one of Thomas's plans has blown up in his face, it's because of a third party and not because of himself. Last time, it was because of Steffy. The first time, it was because of Douglas. So no, I do not think that he would have put Douglas in a situation of expecting him to keep his mouth shut about this and not have anybody else find out about it. No, this feels like this was Thomas on his own doing whatever for whatever bullshit reason that Bell came up with. But then the thing is, that's the thing. You're trying to find reason in why Thomas would do this. There is no reason. This is him getting thrown.
I'm not trying to find no reason in why he would do that. I was trying to get why you guys just going to the extreme to just like think that because it's on the screen today, like every freaking day, it's either they get a win or we get a win. Today they got a win with supposedly it seemed like So my thing is, what? Okay, tomorrow it could be something totally different. It'll be something totally different because this is how Belle's been playing this whole storyline. It's just
But he
like,
didn't leave us open though. I
okay,
know what you're saying, Can, but I felt like if he would have even did something like have Thomas not say I did it, like play say you think Brooke or you my dad thinks his wife called CPS on him, on me, on his son, but it was me who did it. Ha ha ha. And and then play that voice back to himself in Brooke's voice. I mean, if it wouldn't have went like that today, if he would
Hmm.
have just thought in his head and said something like, maybe we would have had something like, well, could somebody have used the voice app to trick Brooke? Like, give me something where he can twist it up tomorrow, but or the leading episodes coming up. But to me, he didn't. It was just a closed door, done deal. Unless he take it back and say Thomas was dreaming, he was laying on the couch dreaming that he did this. How else can he make this work? Can?
yeah, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with Ollie.
Then
And
that's fine.
we just
Everybody's
That's
allowed to have their own opinion. I'm
right,
just,
it.
exactly.
it's just
Yeah,
at the end of the day, this is Brad Bell going back to what he knows, and what he has known since the character was
breaking bridge
recast
up to make
is
them up.
exactly, and casting Thomas as a faux villain to justify it because Bridge sucked together. Okay, they suck. They have no chemistry at this point, and he can't write any other story for them other
No,
than this type of story. He can't come up with nothing
that's
else for
it.
them to do. This is the story that he wants to tell, and so
Yeah.
now he's just decided to. And here's the thing: I get it, and I'm gonna be very honest. The Sin reunion and the quality that it was lulled every single person into a false sense of security because
Hmm.
we felt that the show was going on a different trajectory after
Hmm.
leading up to the Sin reunion. That we were going in a different direction. That the show had learned from the shitty lesson, had learned from the
Yeah.
shitty stories they'd done before. That they
Yeah.
learned their lesson. That they realized, you can still do good soap, but you don't have to do this trite, stupid
You don't have to
bullshit.
kill your characters for
You
it.
don't exactly. You don't have to kill off a good leading man just
Yeah.
so you can make an excuse to go back to a triangle that nobody wants
That
to see
nobody
anymore.
wants.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, Bell has already been shown. Because here's the thing, they're not that far out on filming. Okay, so it's not hard for them to, as Sam said before, add something in post production or to change something. Because here's the thing,
Yeah.
look at Bill. Bill is a minor example of what I'm talking about. We had all this potential for Bill going into some other type of story going forward. Okay, when they decided to make
Hmm.
him the person who saved Lee's life, the person who went and found Finn, the person who took Finn to Monaco so he could reunite with his true love. They had they had everybody gassed up for Bill to
Yeah.
finally do something after years of doing absolutely nothing, of just being a Logan sycophant, kissing Brooke every other year to stir up drama with Bridge, which is not a story. But they finally had us all gassed up, ready to see what was happening. Whether him and Lee was gonna be good friends, whether it could turn into something else, whatever. Bill was finally gonna do something, and what did we get? What did we get? Bill sniffing Brooks' drawers again.
Yeah.
Not once, not twice, but three times. Once at her house, again at the Olive Garden, and again at her house again.
Yeah.
And now the topic is gonna come up again when he's back begging for Katie. All that build
Yeah.
up, for Bill heading in a different direction, looking to do something new, just for him to go back to doing the same shit he's been doing for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
That's right. And and I think it's done purposely, darling. I felt like, going back to that build up of the Sin reunion where we all thought that, Bill, they had learned their lesson and we was getting ready to go on, something just, just a good path. We wasn't going back to that 2019, 2018 era. I think it was done purposely because he did lose a lot of fans. He even admitted that he wrote himself into a corner. And so he got viewers back, and then he had more viewers, right? We had new
Mhm.
viewers hearing about Sin. What's going on with this Sin on Bold? They had people coming to Bold that never watched Bold before so they
Exactly.
can
Who's
get a
this
taste
hot
of Sin.
couple? Wait, he
Yeah,
was dead and
yeah,
now he's alive. Hold on. Let me see.
yeah.
That's interesting.
They were going even on Bold Live to say, I had stopped watching Bold 10 years ago because of all this shit with Brooke, but they've given me a reason to come back, right? We had that. And it's like, that's what he does, though. He gets in the fans. But is he a quality writer? Can he keep it up? See, at this point, I don't think Brad can purposely sabotage. He's purposely sabotaging the show. I just feel like he cannot freaking write. I feel
It's
like he
compulsive.
don't have an idea to save his life. That's why he always go back to the same thing because that's what he knows to do because he was starting off good. Now he back to writing himself in a corner because first of all, you don't have but one woman writer in there that I know of, and y'all writing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Get some new blood in there. Get some fresh meat in there. Get a better because he has no direction. He's gonna lead them back into another freaking brick wall. I'm telling you, because he have no other ideas. That's all he knows how to do is sabotage and annihilate and decimate a character just so he can prop bridge, just so he can prop lope. That's all he knows to do.
Which
And
is
I think
ridiculous.
it is, darling, but don't you feel like he getting back into another corner though?
He is, because the problem is now, let's say things play out exactly like as it looks like at the end of the day. Let's say there is no twist. I mean, because here's the thing. We've all, and this is the problem that has been haunting us with Bold for years. And I'm gonna say this as plain as I can. 90% of the people who watch this show are a better writer than Brad Bell. Okay? We're
Hmm.
better writers than him. We're more creative than him. We've watched soaps for far too long not to be able to come up with good twists for how a story could work. How many times have we sat in this same spot where we had all these fantastical ideas for how there
Yeah,
was a twist? Like Brad Bell is M. Night freaking Shyamalan, and he can actually come up with an unexpected twist that we
yeah,
never see coming. And
yeah,
how many times have we been left holding a damn bag like an idiot who
yeah.
has to cash the check while because somebody else shanghaied themselves out the bathroom
That's
window
right.
and we got to pay for dinner.
Yeah,
Benny Suicide. The Benny Suicide was like one of the
yeah.
latest versions. We had all these theories,
I didn't
all
want to
these.
believe it. Yeah,
I didn't want to believe that it was something stupid. We were like, somebody
yeah,
had to kill him. He didn't was it really an accident? What's the chance of it being an accident? What's the chance of Benny being outside of, on the way to Brooke's house as soon as he gets out of jail and he gets flattened by Bill and Liam of all people?
yeah,
What are the chances? They turned it into a Harry Carey suicide. That he threw his
yeah.
ass, he was lurking on the street and threw his ass in front of the car. So all of
So
our
Thomas can have another chance with a
exactly.
married woman.
So
That shit is
all of
bad.
our twists, all of our explanations, all of it about how it could have been this, that, and the third, all came to naught for like the
Yeah.
eighth time, and that was like the fifth time that I can think of in recent history where a story went like that, where there was a mystery or something that we could not quite figure out, and all the theories just fell flat on the floor like eggs falling out of a carton because Bear Brad Bell isn't that good.
That's right.
We want
And
him
if
to
he
be.
was gonna mess
We want
Thomas
him to be.
up, then he could have did it right there too, because Thomas didn't even have to tell anybody about Vinny's video, his last dime video. And then there was another thing. After he done killed himself, the dead Vinny managed to hit sin.
Exactly.
So
That's what I mean.
he got
This
run
is
over by
why.
the car, but managed to hit Sid.
This is the part, and this is the part where when Can says that, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, how? That's what I mean. You make it sound like Brad Bell actually writes these things to go in a
To make
logical
sense.
point. He doesn't. He
It's
doesn't.
illogical.
He has a end result that he wants out of a specific action in the story, and he doesn't care how the writer, how the script writers who actually write the day to day dialogue get it there. He's just
Yeah.
like, then he killed himself so Thomas could have hope, and then he sent and sent Thomas a video of it. Well, how did he send him? I don't care. Just make sure he sends him a video. Okay, yeah, okay, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, and they make it happen, even if it doesn't have any logic. That's right up there with cell phones, where text messages get delayed for a month.
Hmm.
Where people be sending text messages and they're getting them 30 calendar damn days later because there
Yeah.
was a problem with their cell phone and all their messages got stuck or some stupid
Got
bullshit
backed
like
up
that.
in the cloud. They was stuck in the cloud, girl.
Exactly, in the cloud. The shit don't make no sense no matter how you stretch it. But he sure works it in there because it gets him to the end result that he wants with the story. So he can
That's
move
it.
on and do the thing that he wants to do. And the thing about it is that's the most annoying, and I'll be honest, is that, and I'm annoyed with myself. I can't say I'm annoyed with the rest of the fans. I'm annoyed with myself. You know why? Because I've been watching this show so long, I keep falling for it.
Yeah.
I keep falling for it. It's Lucy in the goddamn football every time.
Girl.
I don't like being
Girl.
Charlie Brown. That is not who I aspired to be in my life. But
Girl.
that's who I am when it comes to Bold and Beautiful. I am Charlie Brown standing there waiting for Lucy to do me over again, and she been doing me over since the 70s. Well, that's
Yeah.
just fantastic.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's just,
want to believe Can. I want to feel like it's gonna be a twist, but but he can't turn it unless Thomas was dreaming. He said what he said today. I don't see how else he can take it back. You know,
I mean,
I want to, but I can't.
if he can take it back, you know what? I won't be mad. If it turns out that there is a twist and this really isn't just down to Thomas doing something stupidly manipulative when there's absolutely no reason for
No
him to have to do this,
reason.
when he was getting everything that he wanted
Yeah.
by just being and breathing, I'll be happy. But it's just that with the exception, the only thing that Bold has done in the last 5, 6, 7 years that has not disappointed me is that they did not kill Finn. That's it. In 8+ years
Hmm.
of soap viewing, the only place that they have not disappointed me is in that one spot. So yes, I'm cynical. I am cynical and I am pessimistic because in 8 years he's managed not to disappoint me one time. And that was in the same calendar year. So I'm just doing the math. I'm doing the odds are, what are the chances that he's not going to disappoint me again in the same calendar year when he spent the last 8 years doing just that? And yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably viewership PTSD, but I mean, I don't fight with numbers. Math don't care. Okay,
That
Bell,
don't lie. Yeah.
math don't lie and math don't care. The math is mathing, and I hate that it's mathing because it's ridiculous. All of our good theories and ideas of where the stories were going all either fall at the wayside, or
Yeah.
if they happen. Because here's the thing that's gonna piss me off. Let's say I think Briam is a complete mirage now at this point. Because
Yeah.
let's
And
say that,
Thor too. I was getting ready to
those
root. I
two,
was gearing up to root Thor
yeah, all of that's a
and
mirage now.
Platoon Hope. Yeah.
Because if any of that stuff happens, if any of that stuff happens with the paradigm of Thomas being the one to make that CPS call, all of these people's individual choices will no longer be their choices. They will be blamed on him.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, truthfully, let's be real. Ridge deciding that he was done with Brooke. Ridge has had one. Y'all were right about that. Ridge has had a foot out the door all year. Okay,
Yeah.
he's had a foot out the door all year, and that marriage was falling to pieces on its freaking own. It
Yeah.
didn't need no help from nobody to crumble to the ground. All anybody had to do was sit back, relax, and watch it happen. And now with this, if this holds, if this looks exactly like they painted it at the end of the show today, unless Thomas pops up tomorrow morning saying, yeah, it would be real terrible if I was the one who did that, but oh well, I'm glad I didn't because
Yeah.
Brooke did this one. Unless he comes back with some kind of rejoinder like that to take back what he said and turn this from a Tuesday cliffhanger into just some kind of gotcha moment or something,
Yeah.
then that means when all of hell breaks loose, most likely when Taylor and Ridge are about to get married for the nth time, and the truth of this matter comes out, that all of a sudden Ridge having been one foot out the door in his marriage because Brooke is drama, trauma, and everything else, all of a sudden, all of that gets blamed on
It
Thomas.
won't mean nothing. Yep. It won't
So
mean
you
all be
okay?
Thomas' fault.
So okay, so y'all thinking that it's gonna piggyback into the storyline with Bridge?
Most assuredly. Most assuredly. Brooke then got on a horse and rode to stop weddings for a lot less than this. Right now, if Thomas is in fact the villain in this one, so to speak, he's the perpetrator, he's the manipulator. This is all contingent on Ridge not saying anything about what made him decide that his marriage
Yeah.
was over.
Because
Thomas
he
isn't gonna say it.
purposely, because
Yeah,
he
he's
kept
gonna do that.
asking, and the reason why I say that it can happen like that, because Brooke kept asking him today, what did I do? What did I do? And they had Rich playing that damn fucking CPS call in his head. You know what
That's
I'm saying? So
but
even though yesterday we got him saying it was everything, Brooke, it was everything. Like Darlin just said, once the truth come out, it won't be everything that Brooke has managed to do on her own. It won't be
Which is
everything that
plenty.
all her actions that, because we even the fact that she threatened to call CPS, but everything before that, the deacon, the New Year's Eve, the man sleeping in his bed, the lying, the gaslighting his grandson, none of that. Her
It's a
tossing
redo.
his son in. Yeah, all of that happening from 2018 on up until today. None of that shit won't matter because at the end of the day, when it comes out that Thomas made the call, they're gonna say, well, the only reason why Ridge left her, if Thomas wouldn't have did this, Ridge would have never
Mm-hmm.
left her.
And
Ridge would
why?
have never
I don't
left
Because
think
her.
so. I don't think
we
so.
we
I don't
saw
think that
Can
y'all
Can.
gonna
We saw
but
this exact
but
move before though with
okay,
Shauna
but
and Quinn. They did the
I
exact
don't
same
think
thing.
it's I don't think they're going to marry that two like that because it's not it's they're playing the audio, him thinking about the audio because that is
Yeah,
not just the catalyst that may have literally given him the pine
it was
cone
like
drop
the
on his
breaking
head.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But it was not the entire reason why he's
But we
leaving
know
her.
that, Can we
I know.
know that. But they're gonna say, Thomas, they're gonna say it was. So they're gonna say it was, even though we know that shit ain't true. They're gonna retcon that shit and say it was. They're gonna say it was Thomas' fault, no matter what.
They did
If
it with
Tom,
they did it with Shauna and Quinn Sanchez. Remember?
yeah,
Bridge had signed goddamn divorce papers
yeah,
all over this mess with Douglas and Brooke trying to force Thomas to give up his rights and all of this mess. Bridge was in
left him to
trouble and
die in
it
a
was
vat of
falling.
acid,
It,
tossed him
it
off
was
the cliff. Yeah,
exactly that marriage was falling apart for a plethora of reasons that had nothing to do with Shauna Fulton and Ridge having a quickie wedding in Nevada, but all because Quinn called when Shauna talked to her, all because Quinn told her, well, look, they signed marriage for divorce papers, drop them bitches in the mail, dissolve
yeah,
that shit, and lock Ridge down because she did that one thing, didn't forge nothing, didn't
yeah,
lie about nothing, just dropped their signed divorce papers that they both signed in the mail to be processed and didn't let them do it. That was enough to completely retcon all of the months of bullshit that Bridge was going through and all the foolishness that Brooke kicked off. Because when it came out that Quinn did that and Shauna confessed to it, then all of a sudden it was all Quinn's fault, cost Quinn her damn marriage to Eric. Not that it was worth much at that point,
Yeah,
and put her in a black hole of being the odd man out for over
she
a
was
year, only
ostracized. That's right.
only to get her face cracked to find that to have Eric cheating on her with Donna dipped in honey. All that other
Yeah.
stuff just disappeared. All that stuff disappeared just
Mm,
because Quinn did something manipulative. So it's same wash, rinse, repeat. This is the same cycle.
This
If,
and this
if
is almost the same damn storyline because, like
I
you
was gonna
said,
say
she
that
already
it's
done this
the
yeah,
stuff.
same storyline. Shauna Taylor is now Shauna. That's the only thing that changed.
and the only difference is Taylor don't know nothing about nothing. She's taking Ridge at his word that he means what he's saying. That all of his declarations, all of his love, all of this, that is all strictly for her but even today she showed that she was a bit mistrustful of him because she knew to keep her ass from going out there because she didn't need to deal with the Brooke situation. That's Ridge's
Yeah,
situation. And if all it takes is Brooke coming up here to get in his face to get him to fold, then he didn't mean a damn thing he said while he was chasing me
that's
all over
right.
these damn mountains. Because
She
guess
said
what?
that. Let's see what he does.
You're right. Real life is in LA. Brooke is not moving anywhere. Ridge is not moving. Taylor, Steffi, none of these people are relocating. They will have to see each other on a regular basis just cuz. And if Ridge cracks every time Brooke gets in his face about their love and their destiny, then everything he said to Taylor was absolutely worthless. And she
That's
knew that,
right.
which is why she stayed her ass in there. She told Steffi to do the same damn thing. But
That's right.
if Thomas is the culprit and that holds, all of this stuff, all of this mess that's been going on since New Year's is all going to just be, well, this was Thomas's fault for manipulating the situation. If Ridge had
Yeah.
never thought Brooke had made that CPS call, he never would have made the decision to go to Taylor. He never would have made the decision to end his marriage. He never would have married Taylor if it gets so far as to him and Taylor actually being married when all of this actually comes out. It all gets retcon flipped and made Thomas's fault instead of any of it being on Ridge or Brooke, the people whose marriage was already falling apart in the first place.
But
Same story.
darling, they did it. They did it for the New Year's Eve storyline. Like they did. Brooke was over there gaslighting Douglas. Hope stopped Douglas dinner plans with his dad, so her mother can gaslight Douglas. So they can lie, keep a secret about her kissing Deacon and all of that shit. So but all of that had then went down. Hope had then did all of this now. He forgave her for the alcohol. He forgave her. He was even going to meetings with her, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we know it was just her running to Deacon's defense is what made Ridge move out, right? So he over there at hanging out at Steffi house with Taylor and everybody, and Brooke still running around. But what possessed me to do it though? But what
Why did I
possessed
drink?
me?
Why did I
What
drink?
possessed me? And then as soon as it came out that Sheila did it, what happened? Ridge took his ass home. So at the end of the day, it didn't matter that all the lying that came after the New Year's Eve bottle gate that she did. None of that shit mattered to Ridge anymore. It didn't matter that she allowed Deacon to sleep in his bed. It didn't matter that she made his grandson lie about it after he had saw the kiss. You see what I'm saying? It didn't matter. None of that mattered anymore because if Sheila wouldn't have switched the bottles, the alcohol, then Brooke would have never lied. Brooke would have never gaslit his son. It's that. I see it. It's about to happen again. It's the same thing. They're gonna find a way to relieve her, and then CPS is gonna be the way to relieve her. I'm telling you.
And it's predictable. We've done this already. We've done this in the last 2.5 years. So it's sad. And it's even worse now because there are more consequences to this bullshit now because one, Taylor's involved because she legitimately feels like her and Ridge are that their love, that what they feel, that they're back together, they're on the path they were always meant to be on. And the question is this: and because that's really what the question is, if things hold, if the center holds on this, and Bell continues to play with our minds like he has been, and it turns out that it really was Thomas that did that, Ridge, what is Ridge gonna do? Is he gonna stay with Taylor because he's already made a commitment to her? Is he gonna waffle back to Brooke, or we're right back where we started, right back at square one?
Yeah.
Unless he pops up and says, you know what, none of that matters. I want to be with Taylor. Come on now, this is Ridge Forrester. What are the chances that if the truth comes out, and the truth is that Thomas conned him with that CPS call, what are the chances of him saying that? Realistically, that it doesn't matter, that it
Yeah.
didn't mean anything, that I would have made the choice that I made even without it. Never mind that every time today, while Brooke was talking to him about it, he kept flashing back to the same damn thing. Have I done something? The CPS call. Just tell me what it is that's bothering you so much. The CPS call. Ridge, why won't you tell me? Why won't you confess that you did it? Why won't you just say it?
And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And this is the thing about Brooke that he should know by now. When she gets caught, she don't double down and fold up on that lie. She will try to protect that lie, but once you catch her at face value and call her on the carpet, she gonna accept that lie. She gonna go ahead and say, well, shit. I thought I was gonna be able to keep it covered up, but you found me out. You caught me.
Yeah.
Just like when Stephanie found out that Deacon was her baby daddy and not Whip, and what could Brooke say? One shit she could say was, well, damn shit. I guess, I tried, but well, it didn't work out. But Stephanie was like, bitch, you're gonna have to marry this man like you said. You're going through with this wedding, and you're not gonna break your daughter's heart like that. Brooke is not one to continue to lie when she has been caught. Like Thomas said today, she'll lie about things for a long time, but she is only forthcoming when she gets caught.
Correct.
That's Brooke. She is out when she gets caught. She knows the jig is up. She don't
Yeah.
try to know. She just said, well, fuck it. I was following my heart, or fuck it. It didn't mean nothing to me when Bill kissed me. I was just saying bye to him. I didn't know his rancid ass was gonna come over here in this cabin and try to stick his tongue down my throat. I didn't think that was even worth telling you about. We are literally having our reunion party. They was having their reunion party when Bill broke them up.
Yeah.
We're having our reunion party, and I didn't want nothing to mess that up. She will.
But I was gonna tell you about it afterwards. That was so funny.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you afterwards.
That is Brooke.
No, she wasn't.
that Brooke didn't make this phone call because she will hide the truth for as long as she possibly can in any fashion that she can. But then once the jig is up, the jig is up. Now she is in recovery mode. Now she got to be the victim and find an excuse as to why she did this shit. She ain't got no excuse for this because she didn't do it.
Yeah.
She should recognize her patterns. Just like they said, Brooke is a patterned person, and she is, and wasn't none of her patterns on display at all. Ridge should be smart enough to go, well, you know what? Every other time I've caught her in the lie, she's went ahead and confessed it,
And that's true.
but now she's just gonna keep doubling down and not saying nothing. Even the last time when they broke up and he was like, you had papers drawn up, and she was like, well, shit, I wasn't gonna tell you. But since she found out, yeah, fuck it, we had papers drawn up.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I will give Brooke that. You're right. I will give Brooke that credit. When she's caught, she's caught.
Yeah.
And she don't hold on to shit. She just gonna go and say, yeah, I did it. You caught me.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true, Bubbles. And and we should have saw it coming. And I should have in Friday's episode when she hopped on that plane and was like the forces when she was talking on the phone with Donna. I'm telling you, it's the outside forces. I just know it.
When did she become the damn Jersey Show damn medium? She's a damn Ventura Boulevard medium out here talking about the outside forces, these vibrational, there's something in the air, the cosmos that is trying to take out our destiny. Feel the stars moving in an adverse pattern. Like, girl, set up a shop with a palm on the outside of it and let people come and pay you for tarot readings. This all
Yeah.
thing that she's doing, every time she does that, I'm like, who's been watching John Edwards? Because Brooke is out here like she prophesying some shit every time. It's these outside forces. I can
Yeah.
feel it.
I can. Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
you feel it?
Yeah.
She's a Jedi. Don't you know she's one with the damn Force?
Girl,
And
it's
Ren's gonna be right there eating it up, baby. I should have listened to you, Logan.
right. And
I'm telling you.
they need to change this show's name to Yet Again, Brooke was right. Because yet again,
That's the point. That is the whole point. And the thing is, the people I feel sorry for, the people I feel sorriest for in this entire thing is Douglas, because he's going to end up getting relegated back to the cabin.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing is, it is the long term implications of this that piss me off too. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, if this comes out, then if this holds and this comes out as this is going to make, remember what I was saying about Hope as not realizing that the fact that she's being managed by her mother and her husband is actually in her best interest because apparently her judgment is shit.
Yeah.
These are the same two people who have been pushing for some time to take this shit to court. What do you think is going to happen? They've been telling her, look, I know you don't want to go to court, but maybe you need to. Maybe that's
Yeah.
where this needs to go. You think finding out that Thomas did this after she went to bat for him. Okay, she has
Yeah.
gone to bat for Thomas to her mother and Liam, the two
Yeah.
people who run her damn life for her. She has gone to bat for him to protest that he has changed, that he is a different person, that he does not do things like that anymore, that he is a good father to Douglas, that he is ready to be the person that she knows he can be. If this holds and when this comes out, Hope will question all of her judgment and she will agree with her mother and she will agree with Liam. And she will most likely decide that she needs to get dirty and fight Thomas in open court over Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is a consequence of this. Not because Thomas broke the law, because let's be clear, there is no law against manipulating people. There is not. It's not illegal.
No.
It is not illegal. But it's not a good look in family court. Yeah, you see, I'm his mother and he's his father. And what he did was he didn't like the fact that his father was married to my mother. So he faked the call to CPS using a voice app to convince his father, to dump my mother. I don't want my son being raised around that kind of behavior. What kind of a person is he going to grow into if that's what he's exposed to? You think that Brooke and Liam ain't going to be pissed and pushed for that? Oh,
right.
go ahead, Bubbles.
I said, and don't forget they'll bring up that damn knife again. And
Yeah.
and if it goes to court, y'all know it's gonna come out that them CPS people was fake, right?
Exactly. You had
Yeah.
people impersonating
So
state officials to
Thomas,
manipulate folk.
Yeah.
Thomas going to prison before Donald Trump.
I'm telling you, y'all, they gonna throw his ass in the crazy home or either in prison. So he may as well be dead. And
Or
Douglas gonna be locked and trapped in that damn cabin. The only way Douglas can come out is if he set it afire. And he's not gonna do that. He's gonna be raised over there as a logum with that scum SOB limb. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. That's where they're going with this. I mean, it's like that was really my biggest thing. It really Tridge was gonna be my consolation prize if they continued to write it the way they was going. Tridge was gonna be my consolation prize, but it wasn't a big deal for me. What I didn't want is to run those two storylines together. I wanted what Thomas to be separate from that. Let him stay
Yes.
over there. He's in a good way over there with his boy. Let him stay over there because I just wanted Douglas out of that damn cabin, y'all. When this come out, this could be bad, y'all. We might lose Douglas. Bubbles. Ours Douglas, Spencer, Forrester, Maroney, Air will disappear in that cabin growing up as a damn Logan with a scum like Liam.
Of
Worthless.
all things,
As a
good
father
God.
figure.
That
As a
is
father figure.
that's collateral damage that I'm not down for. Okay.
I'm not,
I'm
y'all.
sorry. I don't give a shit about Tridge. Not like that. Because
Not
you know
like
what?
that.
You know
No,
what? We have survived over a decade with Tridge being in the
apart.
history books, and you know
That's
what?
right.
There are worse things than a soap character being single. Okay, we've
That's
seen it.
right.
And but Thomas making this choice, if the center holds on this, to do this, to break up Brooke and Ridge, and having it backfire on him like this, it would cost him his son, would be absolutely catastrophic, because Douglas is worth more than Tridge being together.
That's
Okay,
right.
that's his child.
That's
That's
right.
him and Caroline's kid. His kid is worth
Caroline
more
only child,
than his
girl.
yes, his kid is worth more than his parents having another shot at a rickety
Girl.
chance at love. Fuck that. I think Ridge is a piece of
Oh.
shit anyway. I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is some bullshit. He gonna risk all of that just for Trish? Like, you got to do better than that, girl. You can't be writing no shit like that and selling
no,
it. You
that's
got to do better than that. Come
ridiculous.
on, Belle. Come on. Like, this is no good. I don't care
Not
how
for me,
you
it
look at,
isn't.
like, you know what I'm saying? I can't even root for Thomas as a villain or a somewhat or a bad guy. I can't even put him in villain territory, but as a bad guy, with Douglas being collateral damage, no, no, no,
No,
no, no,
Douglas,
no, no,
and that is my
no.
truest concern about this. Like I said, I don't give a shit about Tridge. Tridge can do whatever. They can sit and spin. Would I have liked them to have because KA and TK have great chemistry? Yeah. Would I have liked it? Sure. Would I have enjoyed it? They're unbearably cute together. That's fine. But no, I'm not willing to trade Thomas's son for Tridge, and
No.
by them connecting those two stories, because that's what that is. The story of Thomas trying to be a parent to Douglas was running parallel to the Tridge story, but there was no intersection in it. Even though Brooke and Liam spent the last 2 months saying that the reason Thomas was doing this was because because he wanted hope, and because Taylor wanted Ridge. That is the case they have been making. And it's been a ridiculous case. It's been absolutely stupid. It's been positively preposterous, because we've seen that is not what's happening
Yeah.
until today. Today,
Until today.
he basically handed what they wanted to them on a silver platter by taking a Douglas matter and intersecting it with the Tridge Bridge bullshit.
Yeah.
Those two
They
things were
was
completely
wrong.
separate before today. But he
Yeah.
did it solely to break up
Kill two birds
Bridge.
with one stone.
Right.
That's what he did.
And that's exactly the case that Brooke and Liam are going to make when this all comes to a head. They're going to say, see, we've been told y'all. We told y'all all
Yeah.
this time this is what it was about. We told y'all that this is what he was really aiming for, that this is what the Steffi, did you know? No, I didn't know anything about this. But see, this is what Thomas was about. Y'all kept telling us we were being nasty and mean and cruel, and we weren't giving Thomas his due credit, and we weren't accepting that he wasn't changed. But he hasn't changed, because he's doing shit like this.
Yeah. Even
Which
though no matter how minor it is, it may be in our book, but they're going to use it to make a big case to keep his son trapped in that damn shed.
exactly, which is my
And it's
main concern.
and Taylor gonna get her heart broke. That's why he blended that story, darling. Two birds with one
Hmm.
stone. Belle knew
That
what the hell he
yeah,
was doing.
he knew exactly what he was doing. And the messed up part is, I feel sorry for Taylor, because she's out here with her heart on her sleeve, fully investing
Girl.
in Ridge and their future, only to realize, because here's the thing, if Ridge don't pull the rug out from under her when all of this goes down, Taylor gonna pull it out from under herself, because
Yeah,
she's not gonna appreciate finding out that her son is still up to this, after she stood up there and postulated to Brooke Logan's trifling ass about how her son was different,
yeah,
about how he was different, how he
yeah,
was better, how all of that was behind him, and how he deserves to have a prominent place in his son's life and raise his child. Brooke Taylor went to, just like Hope went to bat for Thomas, Taylor
So
went
did
to bat for
Taylor.
Thomas. And
That's
when this
right.
comes out and she finds out that this is what he did and that this is exactly what precipitated Ridge's flight to Aspen, you think
Yeah.
she's going to be happy in her relationship with Ridge?
Girl, and he gonna be doing
No, she won't.
everything. He gonna
She
be
won't.
kissing her booty from here to Africa, girl, just so he can make his Logan happy again. I am so sorry. They not they. It's like Bell won't. He want to turn. The Logans already don't like Thomas. He wants to turn Brooke,
His own people against
his
him.
own parents against their own child. That's what he's gunning for, because they all gonna be standing there with egg on their face
Pretty
looking
much.
crazy, and
Looking nut nut.
Deborah could go begging begging Brooke on his knees, and he could allow whatever she want, however she want him to fix it. If that means Thomas never sees his son again and they throw him in the crazy home, Ridge gonna be right there on her side, Team Brooke.
And the only mitigating circumstance that's going to make this story possibly have collateral damage that doesn't blow 100% blow up in Thomas's face is how far do they let this go? How long are they going to drag? Because here's the thing: it's not going to be long. Because what's around the corner? November sweeps. It's already it's almost practically mid October. So this all has an expiration date. Okay, people. This story is not going to drag on. This is not going to be 3 months of why did I drink. We're getting about a month and some change of the CPS story being on the back burner. Because, yeah, November sweeps is around the corner, and then there's the end of the year. So before the end of the year, this secret is going to pop. So the only question that's left is how far are people going to fall apart in the in
So
between
gonna be
time?
getting closer, because
Yes.
it gotta be
How
a big
close?
blow. It gotta be a big
Exactly.
blow so it
How
can
much
make Thomas look bad.
Right. How much closer is Hope going to grow to Thomas?
She
How
much
far in the
closer.
right? How much far is Brooke going to fall back into the bottle because Ridge
Brooke
has left
might
her?
fall back into the bottle. Taylor
Okay.
gonna be sleeping with Ridge. She gonna lay her heart all out there, girl. It's gonna be a
Exactly.
tragedy.
Exactly. So that's the only part about the only two parts about this that are going to be interesting is one, if Thomas really did go the extra mile and make this a scam from start to finish and didn't involve real CPS, and two, how far are all these people's lives going to fall into a different pattern because of this, and what because of this lie, but before the lie gets exposed. Because once the lie gets exposed, party's over. Thomas, the changed man, is no longer going to be considered the changed man. Hope's whole attitude and position with him is going to change. Liam and Brooke are going to change. Ridge and Taylor are going to change up, and it's going to be a mess. And I don't even want to fathom about how, and I'm disappointed because having anybody else but him do it would have been creative. It wouldn't have been
Yeah,
hard. It would have. I mean, you heard us because the thing is, I feel foolish now. We're sitting up here thinking about Brooke's cognitive issues and
yeah.
all the other possible people
They
who
could
could
have
have
went with that too.
who
That would
they
have
could
been a
have
good
they had
story.
and Sanchez. That's the part that pisses me off. They had other options.
Yeah,
There were options all over there. Douglas.
yeah,
Douglas, Brooke herself with cognitive issues. The Douglas angle was incredibly creative, and I really did want it to be true because that's nuanced. That's
yeah.
storytelling. That's drama without having to
That's
make
right.
someone a villain. Because
That's
here's the thing:
right.
when Rick shot Grant, I never thought of Rick as a villain. I just thought he was a sad, mixed up, confused kid
That's
who just
it.
didn't know what to do with himself. You got drama,
Exactly.
you got everything you wanted, but you didn't have to throw anybody under the bus to get it.
Yeah.
But we apparently can't have things like that now. At
Nobody.
least
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
You could have nice things.
They don't
hmm,
know how to write over there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They cannot write a decent story without, just desecrating one of their characters. They can't do it. I mean, and to this point, I just really feel like everybody up there is talentless. No one has creativity. I mean, because why else do we keep coming back to this point? Why do we keep going back to this corner? darling. We back
Exactly.
in the same damn corner.
We're right back where we started. We
Yeah.
are right. We and that's the thing. We didn't just. Sometimes writers do get stuck in corners. They do. It happens when you're writing a long term serial. It is really easy to get stuck in a corner. I understand that. I've written enough creative stuff to say I understand what it's like to hit a page and not know what goes next. You don't know what happens in the next paragraph. You don't know what happens in the next chapter. You don't know what anybody does. You just know something's supposed to happen, and goddamn you if you know how to get there. So I comprehend that really well. But the thing is, this is a pattern with Bell. This isn't him getting
Mhm.
stuck in a corner. This is him making a choice to reenact the same events over and over again. And the only thing that changes is he switches up which character it is. Okay, sometimes it's Thomas. Sometimes it's Thomas, then sometimes it's Quinn.
It's
Oh,
yeah.
speaking, oh, not to get too far off subject, I have completely no faith in how that conversation with Carter is going to go on Friday for Katie because obviously they're going to address Renasofa's departure and what happened to Quinn. So yeah, I'm prepared considering the miasma that's on the show now. They're going to completely destroy the character of
Yeah.
Quinn post exit in order
Yeah.
to explain her exit. I'm
Oh my God, girl,
confident in
it's
that.
gonna be
I'm
trash.
very confident in
It's
that.
gonna be trash.
It's gonna be some bullshit about her not really being able to move forward with Carter because of their age, or
Yep.
felt
Yep.
guilty or something
Hmm.
because she knows he wants to have kids and she can never give him children, and she should have left him with Paris or some bullshit. It's gonna be some bullshit.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
It could be something just like that. Yep.
And then
I
Katie gonna
agree.
make her move after she didn't told Bill to go to hell. Which normally I would be
It's
like,
just
okay, they
disgusting.
letting Katie have some play, that's fine. But you know what? That's the other thing. When writers make these type of choices, they take all the flavor out the show. They didn't turn. They took a nice fillet of cut of meat, a nice filet mignon, and they turned it to a piece of spam. Just
They
feel
sure
like pressed
did.
bologna.
That's how it feel now. I'm gonna tell you when it started feeling like that for me, darling. When they first killed Quarter. You know what I'm saying? When they had Eric ripped up those divorce papers and they sent her back home to get dragged by Eric. And then they had Carter out there, girl, kissing all the girls. Every time somebody breathed on Carter wrong. He was the filet mignon that they turned into spam for me.
Yes.
I mean, it just wasn't that good a second time around. I hashtagged them. I supported them because, it was a joy to see. It was good to see something different, but it wasn't good as it was the first time around.
Right.
And it took away from Carter's character.
They
It
were
did.
boring when the second time around. Quarter was boring because
It
all they
was.
did was lay in the bed and talk about Eric and Donna and honey.
That's it. That's it.
Exactly. They had gold the first time around,
He
but
was
then they
gold,
sat up
baby.
there. They turned Carter into this wobbly, unsure thing when Carter was never that man.
He was
That
never
was
that man,
that was
girl.
never who he was.
Then
But
they
they
had the man sleeping with had Eric. Girl, like
it was
making him, demanding how he sleep with his, I mean, like just that whole, oh, I
that
couldn't,
Mandingo storyline. That's what you're talking about. That damn Mandingo storyline
that
where
was
he
that man
basically
Dingo story,
yes,
yes.
where he pimped yes, when Quarter was on its way out the door, when Quarter was on its way out, when Quarter had gone officially out the door, and they decided that, well, you know what, the next best thing to an affair is having a man agree to be a cuck. In his own
Mm-mm,
marriage and sending his wife
mm-mm.
out to get laid. The only thing that would have made it worse is if he had told Quinn and Carter to tape it and bring it in so she could bring home a
Oh,
tape for him to watch.
girl,
We
it
was
was horrible enough.
we was that close to that kind of foolishness. That's how
Yeah,
repugnant that setup was. But that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say the show hits gold. They hit solid gold and
go,
they throw it away all to come in with some cute they can hit a diamond and turn it into cubic zirconia.
just to throw all it was for, it was all for, right? To get Donna back in the bed with Eric. And
And
where
the thing
all of
is,
this
they
here
could have
came,
been
but she
that.
had been with Eric in over a decade. Now all of a sudden, he was her destiny. You see, but you see, it's like, what do they care or do they not see it? But we always comes back to that. We go from solid gold to you ruining for these damn Logans, and I'm sick of it.
And they
Darling,
don't
we
have
not
to do
going
it.
nowhere. They don't have to do it, but they act like they can't write nothing better.
It's
Like what?
compulsive. It's a
What's going
compulsion. It
on?
feels like an addiction problem,
It
honestly.
does. It feels like an obsessive compulsive habit. And y'all know what that obsessive compulsion feel like. And you know what I'm like? It just shows he's obsessed with these
Yeah,
freaking Logans. He's obsessed with Brooke. He's obsessed with Donna. And the only one that we know he ain't obsessed with Katie. And I wonder why. Is it because she's a brunette? I mean,
probably.
come on. Come on. They didn't even have nothing written for Rena.
No, and that was the part. That's the part that was cracked up. Was that you had Rena Sofer up here asking you what are your plans, and your plan was nothing.
For
Nothing.
her
You
to
had
stick
no
around
plan.
until they be on recurring until we can figure it out. What the hell kind of shit is
And
that?
she opted out, and there's not a soul in the world who can blame her for that. She out there making her pottery, got herself a new slick haircut, and living her best life. And I wish her well because she didn't want to stick around for the bullshit. And
Mhm.
nobody can blame her for that. And now what we're going to get is some bullshit. So basically, they ruined quarter, natural quarter, as it should have gone because how that
Solid
story.
gold.
Yes, that quarter was gold in its first iteration. Quinn was never supposed to go back to on a real soap with a real writer. Quinn never would have went back to Eric.
No,
That would have been
that
it.
was some BS.
The divorce papers, she signed the divorce papers, and he would have signed them too, and that would have been that. She
They
would have
could have
went on.
fought it out over the shares.
Exactly. Or they could have had a fight over the shares. Like another case, that's another thing. Another case in point of us being better writers than the show. We had all these high ideas about what was going to happen when Quirk ended. And what
Yeah,
happened?
girl,
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
Nothing,
Not
girl.
a damn thing.
Nothing, girl. Isn't that
Nothing.
sad?
Absolutely nothing. No fight over the shares. No fight over Quinn's jewelry line. No Quinn making it a point to say she didn't want to see Donna ass running around the office if she was gonna still be working there. We had all this faux amicability bullshit where she just shrugged and Carter was basically like, well, you got me, so don't even worry about this bullshit. And it was like, yeah, I got you. I'm not gonna worry about nothing, even though they made a complete fucking fool of me. Keep. Absolutely
There
nothing.
was, yeah, nothing.
So
Flat, girl,
yeah,
flat.
so this idea that Belle cannot resist going back to bullshit is not founded in just PTSD. It's founded in fact. He's done it. He did it again after he finally broke up Quarter. After he broke up Quirk, and he didn't break them up because Quinn decided she wanted something else. She caught her husband screwing Donna in bungalow whatever 12, 13, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and that's what broke up the marriage. That is what ended their marriage. Donna,
And
Eric sticking his eggplant in Donna's honey pot,
his
and
pickled ball.
only then was Quarter allowed to have anything that even looked like a relationship, and that only lasted 5 seconds because Rena Sofa was out the door 2 minutes later.
Yeah. And and that was, and I still want to, I'm upset about that because I'm still going on to the first time around when her and Eric were gonna get divorced, and Carter said, and he was like, just everybody, because it was Ridge was in the office, Brooke was in the office, they all was in there, and everybody was get rid of her and get rid of Quinn. And Carter turned around and looked at Eric and was like, with all due respect, Quinn's jewelry line is bringing in the most income right now. That
Hmm.
would be a bad financial move if you fire her. And I still got that stuck in my head. They never did nothing with that, darling. They
And
never
then they
did
had
nothing with
not
that.
did they not do anything with it? They even had the nerve for Ridge to make a comment about how the jewelry sales, and this was while Quinn was still married to Eric, and she was having all these concerns about Paris and Carter. He was like, Quinn was sitting at that table in the office, all lost in thought, and Ridge was like, "You would think that you would be happier." After Ridge, this was after Quirk broke up. After Quirk broke up, he was like, "You
I
would be
remember it.
happier
Yeah.
because the sales are even better this year than they were last year." All these little hints about how Quinn's jewelry line is so important to Forrester, but
That's
they
right.
didn't have anything to do. They didn't have anything for her to do after they put
Girl,
Quarter
that
together.
storyline could have written itself,
Yes,
darling. They
it could
some
have.
damn fools over there. That storyline could have written itself. What in the
And
heck going on in that writing room, girl?
that Sanchez. That's what I mean. With all this mess about him writing himself into corner, he does it on purpose. It's like a compulsion. It's like somebody gets him out of a corner, and he backs himself right back into it. Like he's painting himself into the corner on purpose so he can't get out of it. That's the second time the ball got dropped with Quarter in as many years.
Yeah.
Okay, the Quarter was together. They was living life. They was loving it. Then here come Eric with this bullshit. They didn't have to send. They didn't have to send her back to that. And then they had this
Mm.
this cuck story where Eric co-signed them sleeping together because he couldn't get it up to
The
give her none.
ED. ED,
The
yeah.
ED story, just making it 20 different types of disgusting that
Girl.
made most of us
That
ill,
was just
made me want to hurl, not to mention the racist undertones of it, but of course they don't
it
think about things
was.
like that. But yeah, but then what happened? Good, she goes back to him, she's working on her marriage, he rebounds to Paris, and then
Yeah.
you find out that her marriage is no better now than it was than when she first
Never,
moved
yeah.
back into Eric's house.
Never got any better. They still
Nope,
sleeping in
never did.
opposite beds and they still not having sex.
Exactly. So all of that rigmarole
Trash,
was
girl.
for what?
Trash, girl. Girl,
To
start off gold just to be right back here in square A. I'm
I mean,
so
and I
through.
will say this. Do you realize I realize how lucky as fans that we are that Tanner Novlin ended up being as popular as he was. Because
Yeah.
I know I know in the bottom of my heart and soul that Finn was supposed to die on that trash bag. I
We
just
knew he was.
He was
They was
supposed to die on that
already
trash
giving
bag.
us steam monologues, baby. He wasn't
Yes,
even dead for 2 seconds. The very next day, they had Liam over there daydreaming, girl. We know we was about to get ready to get steam. We know that. He wasn't meant planning on bringing Tanner back, girl.
exactly. And something, I don't know what, something changed and they decided to keep him. And they
We did.
trashed
We
the
It
whole
was an
steam,
outroar.
Liam being Captain Save a Ho and all of this other foolishness. They killed it, got and ended it. And I want to say partially because thank God JMW was pregnant and she needed to go out on her maternity leave. Because if we hadn't had that needed break in the middle of all of this, I think this story would have went a lot different.
I think it was the uproar what caused it because just like now we finna have us a bowl live after they didn't sabotage Thomas, it was the same thing with us. After they killed Finn, I think Finn died on the Wednesday. Steffy got shot on the Thursday and they was picking them up on the Friday. And
Oh, I
on
just
some
realized Queen Libra said we don't have Bold Thursday. They got a the last January 6th committee hearing is on Thursday at 1 o'clock.
but
Y'all know that's my jam.
Season 2.
then they
Yes,
got the bowl live, and I feel like it was an uproar. It was the same thing, just like the sin shooting, though. It was an uproar because they had a bowl live right after the sin shooting, and we was all up in there hashtagging Save Finn. And
exactly.
we was all on Twitter. We shut Twitter down with the hashtagging. Bradley got drugged for 3 months until he brought us Tanner back.
He needs to get dragged again for this shit he doing with Tom.
Yeah,
He
you
does.
right, Bubba.
He
She,
really does.
yeah, she's
I mean,
trash.
and the thing is, I'm looking at all the other soaps. You got Days up here having threesomes. And Esme looked like she pregnant on General
Girl.
Hospital. Hell,
Yeah.
I'll even
When,
take Nate snitch ass on Y&R over this bullshit, and that's
yeah,
saying something.
when I tweet about days, I put in the tweet, I don't need none of you pearl clutches and you old ladies to be coming over here in my thread. Cause this is for the young and the restless over here, baby. We hot over there on days, baby.
Honey, I sat there watching. I was like, what is they doing now? Okay, they have a threesome for. Okay, and they showing it. Okay. But y'all know Days of Our Lives always takes them big chances because back in the day when John put his hand on Marlena's chest, them fans, we didn't have the internet, but they was writing letters in like the world was fixed. How dare you let you know
Oh,
her
I haven't checked. I haven't checked on the Facebook grandmas, but the Twitter one's been wilding under those articles about the threesome. Woo!
The Twitter grandmas are so upset, baby. When I tell you their little panties in the bunch, I mean, baby, they're clutching the pearls, grabbing the
Girl, they said it was
necks.
porn.
Girl,
They said it was porn.
outraged about this threesome.
I cracked up laughing because I wanted to say, "Oh God, y'all must not have ever watched any good porn in your lifetime if you thought this was pornography."
I know, right?
having a baby was pornography, okay?
Girl.
That birth scene and how sexy that was. It was so sexy. She was giving birth and y'all was getting off. That just tells me that something else is wrong with y'all. I ain't pointing no fingers, but if you sitting there getting off on this woman pushing the baby out,
Who are they? Louis the Eighth? Who are they? Louis the 14th? That sounds like a historical French thing to me.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah. But days though, Bubbles have always like even they sex scenes has always been kind of, like it's like damn near some backdoor PG rated PG version porn anyway. They always had these type of love scenes when they do their love scenes. I've always enjoyed their love scenes because it's
Mm-hmm.
more real to me than what we would get on any other soap. It's more
Not to
real.
not to mention the fit they had about Anna and Valentine, and the fact that apparently Valentine knows what oil is. That was the last thing that had him up in arms.
Lord, I heard about that from GH girl. I'm like, Lord have mercy, really? Y'all, like we don't that's a part that's so natural. Like sex is a part of life. Why are we acting why are we behaving this way? Come on. These grandmas know better. I know they lived through the 60s because I lived through the 90s. And baby, we cut up. Let me tell you. So I don't want to hear that. Don't come on my Twitter. And I've been all over Twitter thread when I be posting my Shaylee plus my Alex. Don't come for me because I'm telling you, this is how we do it over here at Days Peacock. And Bo could be taking a nice lesson from the writing over there because they don't drag none of our characters to make any other character look good. We don't get that over there.
No, they don't. Not like that. I mean,
No.
and tomorrow's gonna be halfway. I'm not sure how. I don't think we're gonna get as much action as we would have liked because we get the return of Shekon, so we get Sheila and Deacon back, who we haven't seen in a hot minute.
Yeah,
So I'm curious as to what that's about. But it's like I feel
they
like somebody
taking it.
just.
They stole the joy from it all,
I
girl.
feel like somebody watered down my Kool-Aid though.
They yeah, they stole my joy.
They didn't water down the Kool-Aid.
It's not even fun. Yeah, that's exactly. Like what you going over there to drink, darling? Really?
But
They ruined it. They ruined it for me.
one of them
I'm
people
still
who
gonna
pull a Kool-Aid
participate
pack in
with
the
you.
water and say it's done and don't add no sugar.
You know what I'm saying?
Ugh, ugh, ugh. It's just
I mean, at least they even got the real deal with Jim Jones, baby. You just got the watered down version of the Jim Jones, okay?
I know,
Yeah.
and it disappoints me greatly. One thing now makes sense. I understand because the last 2 weeks the spoilers have kind of been rolling me because I've kind of felt like they were really abrupt. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like, and I figured the reason was because they didn't want to say who the perpetrator was in the whole um CPS thing, and that's why the bold spoilers were kind of really brief and really didn't have much to them. And it feels like after today, I really feels like after today that today explained why they feel like that. That is because yeah, they know who did it, but and yeah, they've let the audience know who did it, because here's the thing, we're gonna know by Thursday, even though we don't have any bold. We'll know with the Thursday night spoilers for the detailed spoilers for next week, because they're gonna have to acknowledge that Thomas actually did it in the
Mm.
spoilers, as a part of them juxtapositioning of what's going to be happening on the show for next week, because
They got
I
a
assume,
confession with Thomas gonna confessing something to Hope or something, right? When
yeah,
is that going to happen?
that was in this week's spoilers, but it wasn't clear as to where it is. So I was thinking it was supposed to be either today or tomorrow, because the only for sure spoiler we have for tomorrow is about Sheila and Deacon. We don't have any spoilers related to Ridge or Tridge or Bridge at all. And it's only a 19-minute show, so they're only going to flick between three sets of people. So we already know one set of those people is Sheila and Deacon. It's a good bet that the other set is going to be Bridge having that conversation in Aspen with Taylor and Steffi in the background, except for the fact that, why do I have this odd feeling that, how we've been having this thing where conversations just don't end, where they just stop the conversation and they pick up with something else altogether, and we're left to imagine
Hmm.
how that whole thing ended. I have to
Yeah.
wonder if they're going to pull that shit tomorrow.
Hmm.
Mm.
No,
Because,
not with Ridge and Brooke, because I think that we supposed to see him pull away from her.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. That was in the preview for this week. Was
Yeah. We
that
seen those actually happen in the preview. So
right? He was supposed to let go of her hands and, I guess,
until
walk
it's
away or
over.
something. So we'll see
Yeah.
Shikon tomorrow, and we'll see Bridge tomorrow, but we don't know who the third, I guess, scene we're gonna flip to is gonna be, because I'm not sure. I don't know if, unless they want to expand on Thomas, which I would kind of appreciate if they let us get some expanded definition of exactly what the hell Thomas is saying, because that's the thing. This is a James Bond movie villain at this point. Okay, you always tell the story. You always explain how you did it. So we see him with the phone playing with the voice app and all this other bullshit. So are we gonna get this monologue in Eric's living room about how he actually did this, how he set this shit up?
Mm.
Every villain monologue, Sheila monologue. I don't see why they would need to break the pattern by not having Thomas monologue.
Exactly. I mean, and my thing is, if they do that tomorrow, I'll appreciate it, so that they can just go ahead, dig the hole, throw the shovel away, and let me know just how much bullshit this really is. Let me know now, so I know what else to do with my viewing time for the rest of this week, and then for the next week.
Yeah.
Because my thing is that, I mean, I'm gonna keep up with it, because yes, I am curious to how this is all gonna resolve, but it's just that doing it like this caps the possibilities of everybody else's story. And because now that they've intertwined the matter of Douglas with Tridge and Bridge, on top of looping it around to pull in any potential for Thope and Lope, all of these stories are now interconnected in around this
Yeah.
one point. So
Yeah.
when this knot gets cut, all those stories are going to
Mm.
fall apart, and it's just not as, honestly, the only two stories that are left that aren't going to be interwoven in this is Sheila losing her mind in that apartment. So I'm really hoping that, that once they come back from LA, I need them to shift from this to shift back to Sheila and have her do something, and just let this bullshit be in the background. Because otherwise, I'm not interested in Thomas standing around corners kikiing about ha ha ha. Yes, my parents are back together. Ha ha. And Brooke will never know I did it. Ha ha. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Until Douglas walk up on him and hear him. And that might be what Douglas maybe Douglas do hear. Maybe that's the conversation he have with his mom because we've been wondering why is he gonna feel so torn? Well, maybe he walks up in here. Maybe he heard his dad today. Was Douglas at the house or was he at school today, darling? Do we know?
He was at the house. Thomas had sent him off to do homework. Because that's the
So
thing. We're still
yeah,
on the
because it
same
was still
day.
yesterday. That's right. We still on the same day. So he probably heard Thomas kikiing about that damn app today. And that's what he could be torn about. I told y'all what I told y'all. I told y'all yesterday when we came into space. I put that shit on Twitter. When we see little Henry Douglas, he coming to throw somebody under the damn bus. I just didn't know he was coming back to throw Thomas under the damn bus, but it looked like it's 2019 all over again. That's what he's talking about. He coming back to throw Thomas under the bus. Just watch.
I mean,
And that spoiler with Thomas confessing something to Hope, that's probably what it's gonna be about because Douglas is gonna hint that he knows, so he gonna go on ahead and tell it. Unless y'all
you know
think it's
what?
too
Because
early.
I just realized it has been the same damn day since September 23rd. Because we haven't
Girl,
had a
get
nighttime.
out.
No, no, really. Because remember, they incorporated costume changes for people, but the day hasn't changed because Bill made that call to Steffi. They left to go to Aspen that same day, and Taylor was in that nice green outfit, and Steffi was in that nice
Yeah.
bronzy looking outfit with the
That
ribbons in her
brown
hair and
copper
whatnot.
looking, yep,
Right.
yep.
So before they got on the plane, they went and
They
changed
changed.
into something else.
Steffi had
Okay.
on the denim, top and the pants, the denim pantsuit, the long sleeve denim. And
Exactly.
Taylor, I forgot what Taylor had on, but something like jeans and t-shirt.
Now all of that was happening with Thomas wearing that hot white shirt with the lines on it. Remember, he was at Eric's house wearing that when Brooke showed up. He went to the office. Then he
Yeah,
came back from the office for the CPS visit. Now, while all of this is going on, Taylor and Steffi are changing, hopping on a plane and going to Aspen.
that's
Brooke was
right.
still Brooke was still in her black outfit when Ridge
Yep.
on October 6th, when Ridge ran his ass over to
Wow.
Aspen, Brooke was still
Yeah.
wearing the black outfit. Brooke didn't change her outfit till she hopped on the plane. This is
Yep.
still the same damn
That's a
date.
dang.
We haven't even it hasn't even become nighttime yet.
Wow.
It's
Wow, y'all. That's you
the longest
see.
day in the history of this show in a while. We have not had a day
Not since April.
this long in a
Not
long.
since Bottlegate. That's right. Not since Bottlegate.
Bottlegate and the day that Finn died, that Finn was shot. Those were the
Oh
last
yes,
times we
yes.
had days that dragged like this. But I want to say the dissolve on the show today kind of made it look like they were just now shifting to late afternoon. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like. And that black shirt Thomas had on was the one he changed into after he spilled the coffee on him in the office last week sometime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When he turned
It,
into the villain in front of our faces.
exactly. So when they did the
God.
flyovers for Eric's house and whatnot, it looked like the light was starting to just begin to wane. Like the sun is just now getting ready to set in LA. So this all started apparently around breakfast time way back in the last week of September, and here we almost halfway through October, and we just not getting to the afternoon.
We get into the after. Well, it must be
To the
evening
late, the
because
late evening,
Douglas
the late
is
afternoon, the
late
evening.
evening because he got Douglas doing his homework, so it's late evening. He
Right.
sent him out
So
to do his homework yesterday. And you're right, because Fridays, I just thought about that. When Brooke found out that Ridge was in Aspen, she still had that black two-piece on that she has been wearing for the last 3 weeks or so.
exactly, it's been the same
Girl,
freaking day since at least the
Mm-mm,
23rd.
trash.
Because
Now
Ridge,
y'all know it
because
get
Ridge
to
had that
trash.
same suit on, that same damn suit on went until his ass changed to go to Aspen and got into them jeans.
Trash girl. I told you he was going back into that corner. He's been written himself back into that corner because that's exactly what was happening after Bottlegate and Steffi got shot. After because she was in that first day lasted what, 6 weeks? I
It felt like
think the
that first
first
day lasted damn near a month.
it was like 1 month. And then we finally went into day two because I remember us talking about the days. I remember we was like 2 months in and we were only on day three.
We were
And we
getting
were
delirious
already
at that
like two
point.
months in.
We
Yeah.
were yeah, we were all starting to get delirious because at first we
Yeah.
were like, well, maybe this is a joke because it was because the whole shooting thing happened around April. It happened on April Fool's Day was
Yeah.
when the shooting happened, and so here we was all the way to the end of the month with Sheila. Here we was. We got to all the way to the end of April, and it took to the last week of April for it to finally be the next day. We spent a whole month in that one day. Actually, it was longer than that
Right.
because the shooting on April 1st, the shooting happened that night. But everything that happened during the daytime before that, because the because March 25th was like that special episode for the 35th anniversary. But then
Mm-hmm.
on the 28th, that's when that day actually started after Finn and Steffi had that romantic night and he woke her up the next morning, sent the kids off, etc., etc. So the day and the night for that whole day ran from March 28th damn near clean to the end of April. And it was like
Mm.
so yeah, they could move on from this. They can move on from this day as soon as humanly possible because that means that this thing that Thomas has perpetrated was done today. All of this happened today in Bold and the Beautiful time.
Yeah. We've been
Girl.
away for a week or two.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. Like we're in week 3 now.
Yeah.
We
We're
are
in
we
week
are in
three.
week 3 of this day, dragging on for forever and forever, which pisses me off because I felt like they had got away from that kind of storytelling.
Yeah, because that's, when he was doing that type of storytelling before, that's when he realized he was stuck because he had wrote himself into a corner. That's why the days were taking a month, and we back into that same type of storytelling. I'm telling you, he didn't written himself right back into that corner. So what did he revert to? He revert to what we know what we can do. Let's go ahead on and hurry up and throw Thomas under the bus. Oh, they won't mind. Nobody will care. We'll figure it out. I'm
It's
telling you.
well, we have about 4 minutes left. I want to throw in some GH real quick because
Oh, please do.
screamed when Esme Prince got caught by Nicholas today. And she was
Yes.
like, hello, lover. And he was out about things. And Esme was like, well, I don't know about how I trust you people. He thought that Esme was going to roll over. She's like, no. And by the way, you ain't going to call the police on us. You ain't gonna call the police on us. And he was like, us? What you talking about? She said, me and your baby, bitch. I
Yeah.
That is so good for his ass.
that she is with child. And then she showed us her baby bump, y'all.
Girl, what?
May showed us her baby bump, and I said, Miss Thing, I know you lied to me. No, so
Yeah.
honey, Esme got a baby bump. She said, oh, your wife tried to kill me.
Yeah. Girl, what is Nick?
Mm.
I'm
Nick
watching
ass.
now,
I
girl.
wants to see. I have got to see the look on Victor and Valentine's face when they find out Nick's then knocked her ass up. They gonna be like, "You did
Girl.
what?"
They're gonna be
Yeah.
sick. They're gonna
They
be sick.
they gonna be exactly. Your girl whipped out that coat, whipped back that coat, and said, "Our baby, quick, fast, in a hurry." I said, Nicholas, you know what a pregnant stomach look like. You done seen this before. And all I can say is, can I just say I am grateful that this is completely Nicholas's problem, and that there is no Spencer no Cassadine who the daddy involved,
Yeah,
cause Spencer ain't touched that in a month.
that's right.
But y'all know, listen. So I was thinking today, y'all seen Cruel Intentions with Reese Witherspoon and
Yeah,
Selma
Religiously.
Blair and Ryan Phillippe from like way
Hmm.
back in the 90s.
yeah,
Hmm.
I feel like Esme is playing Cruel Intentions with Trina. Trina said today, talking to Ava about how she feels about Rory and whether or not she is ready to break the wrapper on her cookie for him. And
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Ava was telling
Bubbles.
her,
how
you
they did, old girl. Yeah,
You
that's
trying to
terrible.
tell me that Rory up here, Sebastian Belmonte, poor Trina?
Girl, that's what it sounding like, girl.
when she was talking to Ava today, and Ava was like, "Look, girl, I know you've been hurt before, and you had your hopes set up for some things, but you just can't let that run you, and you just can't be scared to get close to people. If you into Rory like that, and you feel like y'all wanna, make some things pop off, then girl, you is grown." But don't let nobody scare you. Don't let nothing scare you off. You had a bad experience. If you want to ride that horse, get you a good saddle and hold on tight. That's what she told Trina. And that
Oh, God.
thinking right then and there, that is Rory's baby that Esme is carrying. And Rory and Esme is playing Cruel Intentions with Trina. Because listen,
Yeah,
the whole thing about Cruel Intentions is dangerous liaisons, liaison de danger.
The Dangerous. Yes. I've seen. Ah, yes.
If you just seen any version of that, it's two people that got together to make a deal to take away the innocence of this third party. But in Cruel Intentions, the girl here wrote this article. She wrote this article for some magazine talking about how she was gonna stay a virgin until the day she got married.
Hmm.
Blah blah blah. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar said, "Fuck yeah, game on, bitch." And then so her and Ryan Phillippe set up this whole elaborate scheme where he was gonna get her out of her drawers. Then there was the whole thing with Selma Blair's character, who really was kind of this sheltered, entitled girl, that they ended up tricking her into sleeping with her boyfriend some kind of way. It was a big old mess.
It was a whole mess.
I was watching that today and I was like, this is cruel. At first, my head was like, this is some dangerous liaison shit. Then I was like, this is Cruel Intentions because it's for the kids. Somebody sat here and watched Cruel Intentions and turned it into a storyline. Trina is going to sleep with Rory, which is going to somehow end up being a bad thing because he's just using her. He is the
yeah,
distraction. Because when Esme was saying that her just throwing her usual bag of tricks at Trina wasn't working, the only other thing that would work would be to distract her with another guy who is really good, like Trina, who's available. He's a freaking cop, a pillar of the community, supposedly. He's the perfect distraction to keep Trina over
yeah,
there while Esme's doing whatever she's doing over on the other side. I promise
Hmm.
this turns out to be for real, for real. And this turns out to really be Cruel Intentions. Don't forget that I told you first. Don't
I
forget.
will. I haven't.
oh, I hope not. I hope she don't lose her virginity to that bastard. Oh, Bubbles, I think I know you right though, but I hope she get up to like all the way there, and then some, maybe Spencer come busting through the door. Maybe he out of jail. Maybe by that time.
Spencer in jail and Roy.
Maybe he'll be out of jail by that time, Bubbles, and come busting through the door to save her from, because this would be cruel. There's some cruel
Well,
intentional shit,
that's
just
but
like the
that's the
movie.
thing. But here's the thing: Young GH does that. God, they had Maxie lose her virginity to a guy who was webcamming it to the internet.
Yeah,
So they have
that's
done that
true.
with their
Damn,
younger female heroines, totally screwed
damn.
up their first times. So they'll go there. GH will go there.
Y'all
I
know it's
love it
2
though.
after 9.
Oh,
It's
it is.
9 to 2, y'all.
Yeah,
It
we gonna
sure is.
wrap it up. But I had to get that out about GH because
There she go.
excited.
It's on now. Look, she trying to run, y'all. He caught us, man. Girl,
Now
what
you
you?
gonna Bubbles. Now you gonna have me looking for clues and thinking.
Well,
Shit.
you know what? At least they giving us something to think about on GH, bold in the beauty
Amen.
watch. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully,
thank you,
hopefully tomorrow we
Bubbles.
have something, better to see tomorrow. That we'll have something interesting to discuss, more interesting to discuss. At least we'll have Shecon, and we can see if Sheila is in fact losing her mind and ready to crack and do some shit. So that's my hope for tomorrow at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. Or that's all I guess I got to look forward to is Shecon too. Thank you guys over on YouTube, everybody who came out. We had some new people tonight too, and I lost track of everybody, but I appreciate everybody who comes and listens. If you guys aren't following the channel, please subscribe. There's like a little bell that'll even give you notifications when we do stuff. And then also you can listen to the replays on Spotify and Anchor, wherever you podcast, we are there. And that's it.
All right.
Thank you,
And
Bubbles.
Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Bubbles.
Thank you,
Good night,
Bubbles.
Ken. We
Good
see
night,
you
Y'all have a good
tomorrow.
night.
Good night, darling.
See you guys tomorrow.